just speak a little bit of extension. In my 10 years of media experience and now shifting towards development sector, what different I'm doing with my life is, when I shifted to development sector, I realized that the 10 years that I've spent, I genuinely did not even look at gender reporting because I was never given an opportunity to actually look at gender lens. And I've worked with most of the top television news channels. And I think that is the fundamental problem. What I have realized now, working in an organization like Breakthrough, which is specifically working on social norms, is that what is norms basically? You know, what Meena has spoken, what Kedar sir has spoken, is the practices of journalism. And Meena pointed out very well कि अगर हम खुद की मतलब कि कब तक सवर्णा दलित की आवाज बनते रहेंगे, है ना? क्योंकि वो इंक्लूजन ही नहीं है, कहीं पे डाइवर्सिटी नहीं है. ये this is happening because media is very lopsided in hirings, and this is somewhere we're not realizing it while creating a culture in media. You know, when I first entered big channel, I was very excited. Oh, you know, I've studied journalism and I really wanted to become a journalist. But then one senior editor told me, listen, your real journalism starts in the news channel, forget everything. And what I forgot is, what most of the journalism students forget when they become journalists is ethics of journalism, which is taught during our colleges, you know. If anybody has studied journalism, we are specifically taught how to report a story, you know, to use appropriately, allegedly. If a case is sub judice, we have to be extremely cautious about how we are reporting it. We have to use the word reportedly in specific areas. We have to use the word allegedly. We have to give a source-based attributes. And we forget that because the top editors of media completely forgets that. Now what happens in the process is the media perpetuates what the society is. Breakthrough works on social norms. Very tricky subject. Very tricky subjects. Trying to change a mindset of a person. We face, India is a patriarchal society, and not just India, but I think most of the part of the world functions on very much patriarchal mindset. Men are more powerful, women are weaker, women are supposed to be in the kitchen, men are supposed to go and work out. But a lot of things have changed over the period of time, but have our mindset changed? Our mindset has not changed. So what is this norm? This norm is basically the mindset, what society develops. Now, current media status, does that mindset change? Recently, we witnessed one of the most gruesome case in Delhi, where a girl was chopped into pieces. I hope most of you have seen that story somewhere, where the girl was chopped into pieces, and then one of the person in the position said, but you know, the young educated girls need to make choices. The immediate blame game was on the girl, but the girl was supposed to make the right choices into the live-in relationship. Now the norm tells you that the girl, this is exactly where the norm is. There was a gruesome murder case where a girl was chopped into pieces. The case was sensationalized to an extent that one of the channels sent 5 reporters to enact the whole scene. And then the commentary was, you know, the girl should have made a conscious choices when the NCRB data tells you that the crime against women was highest from 2020 to 2021. There was a 21% increase in violence against women in 2021. Yeah, there was a 110% increase in violence against women, online abuse in the year of 2020 and 2021. There was more than 30% increase in domestic violence cases in the year of 2021. Why I'm emphasizing 2021 is that is the year when most of the women were within their homes. So, किस तरह से media perpetuate the social norms instead of changing them? Is when you tell a girl who's dead who did not deserve to be chopped into pieces, that she should have made a choice. Well, the Supreme Court gives you the equal right to be in a live-in relationship and to be married. Then the question is, why on earth are you telling the girl what to do even when she's dead? And that is exactly what happens when somebody is raped. Where was the girl? Where was the girl that time? Who was she with? Recently there was a Lakhimpur Khera case where two girls were found hung. And the next day there were stories about the girls. I think Nina would know better. इस बार जो Lakhimpur Khera case हुआ था, most of our journalist friends, they went and they reported it. And the kind of stories that were created, but that girl is so and so and so. But the fundamental thing is, if there is a rape, question that why any kind of a rape is a human violation. It doesn't matter where she was, who she was with. The question is, when there are rape stories, the fundamental question is, it's a human violation. The second is, look at the power dynamics. In Hathras case, in Lakhimpura case, we saw that there was a power dynamics. In India, every day, 10 reports of Dalit rapes are being reported. Now, these reports are from NCRB data. NCRB data is collected on the basis of FIRs filed. So just imagine, in a country like India, where women are shamed, to even report a sexual harassment cases. How many cases of rapes and harassment and violence must have gone underreported? Just think once. एक बार सोच लो कि NCRB का डेटा आपको कहता है कि there is a 20-30% increase. Online violence 110% increase हुआ है. And entire NCRB data is just based on the FIRs. Now just give a thought, because of the social norm, and who shames women? It's the media who shames women. It's the society who shames women, and media perpetuates it. ये लड़की का रेप हुआ, ये इस जगह पे उस टाइम थी. One of the things with Keras are mentioned is the Nirbhaya case, and let's not call it a Nirbhaya case because the word itself is very ironical. Nirbhaya was given the name of brave. She was brave. Nahi. Let's not just bring a narrative. It's wrong. She did not deserve. That bravado was not necessary. She was a girl who was raped, and that was a human rights violation. She was Jyoti Pandey. Her mother has told us, take her name. In Jyoti's case, what happened was, media did exactly what they were supposed to do. They broke the social norms. They questioned. They went all hammer and tongs saying no, but it is unacceptable. And that one case becomes the most significant case, where government also took the note that yes, it is wrong. But you know what is ironical? After that, just after Jyoti's case, there was another rape case in Delhi, where a 5-year-old was raped. But that case did not deserve. That case did not get highlighted. You know why? Because perhaps it did not suit the media. Here the power dynamics plays a very, very important role. Kaun thi? Who was that person? Which caste and creed and religion did that belong? Very important. The problem with the current spectrum of media is it basically is an enabler of societal mindset. मीडिया ऐसा कोई काम नहीं करती जो आपको क्वेश्चन करने में मजबूर करेगा. मीडिया वही काम करती है जो लोग कंज्यूम करते हैं. Recently, Breakthrough came up with a report, very unrelated, reimagining pop culture. We went and we asked some Bollywood screenwriters, आप क्यों ऐसा काम करते हो? Why are you writing, these scripts that are so that are violent, but it is somewhat portrays women in a very bad light. Too much sensationalization, too much objectification, so many isms in it, so many bad languages. Why? And they said because people consume it. And
honestly, there is no difference between all Bollywood scriptwriters and OTT scriptwriters and media feature stories. आपने हिंदी न्यूज़ में 20-20 मिनट की feature stories पढ़ी होगी. You know, just like this that the recent case जहाँ पे 5 reporters भेजे गए थे just to enact the whole scene of body being brutally chopped. Why? Aren't you aware of how that is? आपको enact क्यों करना है? Because people consume it. That's where I think media goes wrong. Interestingly, I was talking to one of the journalists, and I'm like, gender reporters क्यों नहीं होते? जिन्हें होते हैं, बिल्कुल होते हैं. हम लोग कौन होते हैं ये gender reporters? Gender reporters are those women. One person, a junior, sitting in the newsroom, आप gender cover कर लो. None of the news channels really know how the gender reportage or gender beat works. What kind of stories they need to cover. Should they cover intersectionality? At the time when we're talking about LGBTQI, we're talking about different sections of society. Gender reporting also comes into it, but I'm sure nobody knows it. Breakthrough is trying to bring it a change in our own way. We don't want to be an entity that just complains. We want to create space within the media. We want to tell media that when we are working towards social changing norms with adolescents, with school systems, with teachers, we think media is a very critical stakeholder. Like the government is a stakeholder, the media should also be the stakeholder, because to bring in the overarching policy changes, media should be the voice. Media should be the voice. In the last 2 years, pandemic has affected women and gender, other vulnerable sections in the most difficult ways one can imagine. Girls are back to being at home after 20 years of efforts of bringing, trying to put back to schools. Girls are back to being at home. They did not even have an access to smartphones. We work in Haryana, and a younger brother have a smartphone, but an elder sister who is in 9th, 10th standard do not have an access to smartphone. Just imagine our condition for the last 2 years in online education. Where is media in all this? So at Breakthrough, what we're trying to do is we're trying to network with different journalists, and we're trying to create a curriculum, just like the 5 W's and the X. Even in gender sensitization, perhaps there could be 5 W's and X. Let's sensitize, the editors and the reporters, the inputs and the outputs section. They need to be sensitized, I think, because then only there will be some kind of reporter changes. Reporters will be sent to cover stories with sensitivities. Source-based stories completely missing. No attributes towards sources. Maybe that should be the practice. Bringing the 3 sides of the story. We were taught in journalism schools, every story doesn't have 2 sides. It has a 3rd side as well. Completely missing. Until and unless media changes its way of pursuing a story, narratives won't change. Until and unless a rape is questioned as why was she raped and on what right were the human rights violated, and instead of where was she and how was she, what was she, narratives won't change. Most importantly, in Breakthrough, we have one big virtue, and that is empathy. Until and unless you empathize with somebody, not sympathize, empathize with somebody, you will never understand. So even if you are from that particular section of the society and you are covering a story, which is the marginalized section, try to create that lens of empathy. Then I think you will understand better. Never go with the preconceived notion. Kedar sir pointed out very rightly, media is very agenda driven and reporters are sent with an agenda. आप वहाँ जाओ, इतना sensationalize करो, हमको ये चाहिए, audience को ये पसंद आएगा. Already a storyline is created. But let the reporter go there and then find the story. I think that's when the changes are going to come. So we at Breakthrough want media to be a stakeholder in the overall gender reforms and not one of the platforms where we have to say कि please यार story ले लो, please gender पे कुछ तो cover करो, government को सुनना भी जरूरी है ना. Instead of that, we want media to be an ally.
That's where we aspire. That's where we aspire media to be. With that, thank you so much.